You know, to think that, like, this time last year, I was wearing, like, a magician's costume with, like, purple leggings and a tutu, sitting here watching Grom, filled with anxiety, and now it's basically the same thing, except I'm not wearing a costume and I'm feeling anxiety for different reasons. But we have Eclipse Lake today, and, like, the past couple episodes, like, we've been really blind because, like, there hasn't been a ton of promotional stuff. There wasn't a lot of stuff in the trailer, like, with these episodes, because we pretty much only have Camilla loose and, like, in the, like, body of water floating up, and then we have, like, Belos with the key, and I think those are, like, the only things we haven't seen, so those are gonna be happening in this episode or the next episode. But with Eclipse Lake, Luce is sick, and so, like, Ida, Amity, and King have to go get, like, an ingredient for the door, and Hunter is also looking for this ingredient too, and Hunter from the Dana's promotional image have just like a normal Emperor's Coven uniform on, so I'm wondering if he like got demoted. But they've been like really hyping up like the Amity Hunter parallel with the cruise promotional art, and like it's very interesting because they're both characters who are very talented but don't have good parental figures in their lives and have a lot of expectations put upon them. And with Amity, we kind of saw how Lucis changed her for the better, and she really leaned into that. But I think Hunter is going to be a bit harder to kind of convince to come over on the other side. I think the hold that Belos has on him is a bit more, you know, just I think it's there more so than with Amity and her parents. But yeah, so I'm wondering what's gonna happen with this key, because I know the key is to be very important this episode, like, and I'm wondering how that plays into next episode, because apparently Luce finds a way to get home. But will she be ready for what's on the other side is like the descriptor for that. So I'm wondering if she's like, they're gonna get the ingredient, she's gonna go over there and then find out about the whole like doppelganger of her. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to with these next two episodes. So those are kind of like my predictions going in. Maybe the ingredient that they're looking for is Titan's blood, since we know that that like causes like leaks between worlds. So yeah, but I'm just super excited. So let's go. Yeah, this key thing. Grimwalker Galderstone? Oh man, the Galderstones were needed? Yeah, this is gonna be, they're gonna try and use the key. It's not gonna work. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah.
Hunter?
Ooh, we got to see a little bit more of the face.
I didn't mean to hide. Emperor Belos.
Oh my god, we got a face reveal?
It is.
What,
You know, I've been there before. Did I ever tell
the
you
ear. Oh, he's just gonna go off on his own. He's just putting on a guard's thingy to just go off on his own. Wow, that was a lot for the intro. I was not expecting that. Oh boy. Oh boy. I was not expecting to get a Belos face reveal. Alright. Let's go. Let's do this. Alright. Eclipse Lake, oh god, I'm so scared. I'm so excited, but I'm so scared. Oh, look at Amity.
Hootie, what's your status?
Oh, they're buddies now. Oh, look at this. And that's Amity's palisman, right?
Did you help too?
Oh,
Good palisman.
she is named Ghost, after Dana's cat.
Lo-fi beats to study and relax to?
Oh man, yeah, you gotta go with those lo-fi beats. Those are the best. That's what I use in all my videos. What are you doing, Ida? Oh, okay. That's gonna be a dragon clawsy.
No.
Oh no.
It's like I have snakes for arms.
Please.
The little
Just has a
abomination.
common mold.
Oh no. How'd you even get sick? You need to wear a mask, Luce. A Tamagotchi?
And today, I'll show Luce that I am an awesome girlfriend.
Oh damn, we got girlfriend being used, like, just in the dialogue. This, no, like, they're best friends, just Galbian pals thing.
Pierce through realms.
Is it Titan's blood?
Blood.
Yeah, okay, it is the Titan's blood.
I have to go to Eclipse Lake!
You sick, though.
Luce, no, you are not well.
She is shockingly strong.
Little
right, Luce.
loose burrito.
Perfect chance to take our new powers for a test drive.
Yeah.
They're as Luce's girlfriend, I must.
I get it, Boots. Just
Alright, so we got Team Recuperation with Willow and Gus, and then we got Team Eclipse with Ida, King, and Amity. Awesome.
Oh, that brat Golden Guard will try to spoil it. Hey,
Do you not know
jump over that
his
chasm
name
before I
either?
screw up.
I find the Titan blood before Kiki. I give it to Belos. Boom! I'm useful again.
Oh, jeez.
Another way in. We'll find another way in.
Wait, she didn't see you run? Okay, cool. All right.
Luce is counting on me. I mean, us.
Us? Amity's like, I have to be the best girlfriend ever.
Don't you recognize that annoying
Yeah.
voice?
Why does everyone say that?
Ooh, look at you, Amity. Everyone getting upgrades.
He is a lot scrawnier than I am.
Where is
Ancient witches
this?
used to mine the veins for Titan blood.
They're not paying attention.
Go on, fire it.
Well, I'm paying attention. I'd like to know. Nice catch.
Any magic
That's
you
cool
shoot
that she
will
just
go
like
right
has like
back
the
at
little like
Oh, you must
you
be fun
know
at parties.
pouch
Hey,
of
kid, how about
abomination
you use your
cookies.
new power?
Oh, this is so cool. Everyone's got their power-ups.
There is no us. Now keep walking.
Oh man, Amity taking charge here.
What if we played them at the same time?
Oh no. Oh god. I like that Will is like the mom in that situation.
If I ever see that human again.
Watch it.
Well,
It's just
I'm
like,
not
don't you talk about
delusional
my
enough to
girlfriend.
think I can turn into a harpy.
Hey, come
She
on,
can.
Give it a rest, you two.
Yeah,
She looks really
listen
cool
to
when
your
she does.
Is it the Golden Guard?
Okay.
No, ma'am. Oh, that poor girl is going through something.
She's also blocking the path.
We should create a distraction.
Okay, Ida.
Huh,
Is
that
it
was
gonna be
easy.
Harpy Ida?
When they're caught, you and I can take the Titan blood for ourselves.
No, you don't
Stop acting like
sacrifice
we're a
people.
team.
You can figure out the rest.
No.
No,
Luce
no,
wouldn't
no.
make that kind of threat. I'm an awesome girlfriend.
Has she told you that?
Man, they really just want to drop the girlfriend line as many times as they can this episode. No, don't let him get to you like that, Amity. Oh god, Ida.
Book 'em out.
Oh no, not the Tamagotchi. Not the Tamagotchi.
Freely blows. Boop.
Oh wow, Luce, you are really...
The tunnels were filled with a substance known as fool's blood. It signifies a decaying vein.
Oh god. They're just vibing. Alright, team recuperation isn't doing that great. Oh!
No!
Wait! Take me with you!
You! Golden Guard!
Oh god. I hope this doesn't come back to bite you
where will you go
in the
now?
butt.
Now...
Oh, come on, really?
I get to...
Well, now I can get my revenge!
Wow, she's dramatic as hell.
What about the Titan blood?
Ooh, fancy.
Going to be
Ugh, this is boring.
Oh, jeez.
Albert's knocked out, so we can't fly.
Oh, buddy.
I'm just like throwing it out there, but this would be a great time to bring out Harpy Ida. I
It
don't
would.
know how. You want to make a deal?
Uh-oh.
Wait, I don't know if I can.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll do it. Just change now.
Oh no, what deal did you make, Ida? Yeah, Harpy Ida, let's go. Ooh, man. She fast.
All right, Owl Beast. Let's see what we can do.
Man, I want like a Harpy Ida, like, okay, that's where that chat comes in. Man, I want like a Harpy Ida, like, action figure, because that'd be so cool.
Hey! A chance to make up for it, but I can't go back empty-handed.
Okay.
This is really bumming me out.
That's just life, Red.
Come back with results or we're done.
No, it's not like that.
You are rad.
Oh.
Fools. This is Luce we're talking about.
Yeah, like, legit.
We do have a lot in common.
You
I grew
do.
up thinking that, but there are people out there who won't make you feel worthless. You just
Get her.
have to let yourself meet them.
Like, think about, like, you know, I was a teenage abomination, Amity did now. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Now, come on. Being nice usually works for Luce.
It does. It does work very well for Luce. Man, the face. There's a lot of great Amity faces in this episode. Oh man! We just get like a full-on fight. God, the animation of the season is so good. Oh man. Yeah, you just gotta go. You just gotta get out of here. Ooh, got the abomination dagger knife.
You're strong, and you're human. So
No.
just hand over the key.
No.
Fine. Just stay away from Luce.
You broke it? The blood's gonna be on your glove? Is that what you did?
Yes.
Oh, no, Luce.
Great!
You got a little bit of
This is permanent.
stuff on your...
Yeah, to keep up my end of the bargain.
Oh.
Amity!
Oh.
So glad my awesome girlfriend is okay.
Oh, man. They just dropped the girlfriend
too.
line so many times.
No king hug.
We might be okay.
Yeah, the blood's on your glove. Yeah. And now you don't have enough. I wonder what the repercussions of that for both of them will be.
Is that your name? Can you say it again? Weird. Can you say other things?
Aww. Man, this season's so good! Oh no, my light went off. Oh no, I didn't even notice. Oh well, whatever, it's fine. But anyway, oh man, this season's so good. Like every episode, I'm like, this is like probably my favorite episode. Oh geez. I wonder what the repercussions of that, like each of them only having some of the blood now will be. God, the animation at the fight scene between Amity and Hunter was so good. And man, she was holding her own. Like, he's like this prodigy, and like Amity was keeping her own against him. Like, oh man, look at my baby girl doing so good. Doing so good. Oh man, what a great season. God, we have yesterday's lie next. I'm so excited, but I'm so scared. So Eclipse Lake was pretty hyped up, and my god, did it live up to that hype. It's also fitting that Enchanting Gromfright was a highly anticipated episode that aired on August 8th of last year, and here we are with another hyped up episode a year later on August 7th. Eclipse Lake threw a lot at us in terms of theory material, including Belos, Philip, Hunter, and the Titan, but also explored the parallels of Amity and Hunter as characters. But before we get into any of that, let's go over our secret messages. From last season, our episode title message was "A Witch Loses a True Way." Since the official Disney Press site has released the remaining episode titles for the first half of this season, we now have Seek the Key. Now, as we know from this episode, the key is very important in getting Luce home. Now, Luce had the key, so there is likely something else that she'll need to get back, and I'm guessing it has something to do with the portal door. We have the Titan's blood, but I'm guessing something will go wrong, and that won't be the way Luce gets back, so there's probably something else she'll need. But until we get the second half of the season, that's what we have for our Season 2 episode title message. But we also have our symbol message. From last season, we have 2 witches torn apart, now alone, 2 hearts of stone, a curse of feathers and mud, a betrayal of blood. Now, since hunting Palisman, the mud thing is a bit more interesting considering Belos' state. Whether this really is referring to Belos, we'll have to wait and see what the remainder of the Season 2 message is. The first season seemed to fit pretty well with Ida, Lilith, and the curse, but there is the possibility that it expands to Season 2. But so far we have Seething Seas and Puppet Strings He No Longer. The code is found at the very end of the episode on the rock as Hunter leaves the knee. When decoded, it says Dreams. So we now have Seething Seas and Puppet Strings He No Longer Dreams. I'm guessing next week's code will probably be of. The question is still, who is the puppet? Is it Hunter being used by Belos? Is it Belos being used by the Titan? Still a lot of questions, especially with this episode in particular. But with our codes and messages out of the way, let's get into the relevant plot, lore, and world building for this episode. So to open up, we have a very interesting book belonging to Belos. On the right, the header of the page is Grimwalker. Ingredients include a Galder stone for heart and power, which we saw back in Through the Looking Glass ruins. We know that Bria said she overheard some Emperor's Coven members looking for them, so Belos having this book is now even more interesting. Additionally, there is Palistrom wood for Curitin, Stone Sleeper lungs, Selkidamus scales, and Bone of Ortet. The Selkidamus scales are interesting because Belos ordered Hunter to slay one in separate tides. Now to the left we see some diagrams. One is of some brown and green material that looks to be like the goop that comes out of Belos. One is the combining of the previously mentioned ingredients,
and the others are of either a fetus or baby, and a side profile and some eyes. The profile and eyes bear a resemblance to Hunter. So is Hunter one of these Grimwalkers and was actually created? That could explain why he may not be able to do magic, and also his creation is important in whatever plan Belos and the Titan have. Speaking of Belos, we got a face reveal, and I definitely was not expecting that. He's got long, slightly graying blonde hair, blue eyes, small pointed ears with a tear, and most interestingly, a streak of green and brown across the face. This streak likely being from some sort of corruption from whatever curse Belos has that we saw in Hunting Palisman. Now, Belos rose to power over 50 years ago, as we learned in Wing It Like Witches. And based on his appearance, he doesn't look like he could be much older than his 50s. Which makes me wonder if this curse alters how he ages. I've brought it up before, but Dana has said that witches can alter how they age. So is that why Belos looks younger than we originally thought? Or another option, with the similarities in hair color and also the tear in the ear, is Hunter a clone, or as the book said, a Grimwalker of Belos? If Hunter is some sort of clone or vessel and is needed for the Day of Unity, that could explain why Belos wants to keep him safe in the castle, even saying it would be too much of a hassle to find a replacement. I'm also wondering if Belos himself is a Grimwalker or clone. Considering neither Belos nor Hunter have used spell circles to perform magic, Hunter being confirmed as a powerless witch, maybe the same goes for Belos. Belos also has much smaller ears than any witch we have seen, so maybe not a Grimwalker but a literal hybrid of humans and witches, maybe a descendant of Philip. Belos did say that he had family, one that he lost to wild magic, so it's possible. So maybe this is just Philip, and through magic he's been cursed and slowed his aging, and possibly affected physical traits like his ears. Or he is a descendant of Philip and traveled to the human realm with him at some point. Regardless, a lot of information was dropped on us in this first scene. Aside from those big reveals, other stuff is that we see that Hunter still has his cardinal palisman, who, as we find out later, does have a name but we have yet to hear it, and that the keys Belos has been making have not opened the door because they lack Titan's blood, so he sent Kikimora to the knee to find Eclipse Lake and retrieve some. And with Hunter feeling like a failure and disappointing Belos, goes off in secret to try and retrieve the blood himself. Meanwhile, back at the Owl House, Amity is making sure everything is ship-shape for getting ready to build the portal for Luce. You know, like a good girlfriend does. We also see that Amity did get her palisman, a white cat named Ghost, which is actually the name of Dana's cat. We also see that Ida is trying to learn how to turn into Harpy Ida at will, which is having less than ideal results, following the logic of Dragon Claw Z, an obvious nod to Dragon Ball Z. And I'm only in my 20s, but damn, did I feel Ida's line about remembering watching certain movies in theaters, and some of them already being several years old at this point. Now, Amity has been taking the reins on the whole get ready to send Luce home thing because Luce got sick with the common mold. And I hope I'm not too old in knowing what a Tamagotchi is, but it is sweet that Luce gave this to Amity so she can send her little messages. And since the white cat is Amity's palisman, I'm wondering if the bat is foreshadowing for what Luce's palisman will be. And just a small thing, but I do like that Willow at least acknowledged how weird it is seeing Amity so often. Sure, they are rebuilding their friendship and on speaking terms, but things are still a little weird between the two. I also like that the show acknowledges that Amity straight up tried to have Bump dissect Luce, and we get the confirmation that it happened a few months ago, so we have a rough estimate of time that has passed. But the Echo Mouse gives us more information. Philip had been on the Isles for 5 years and discovered Titan's blood. So we find out that Philip came to the Boiling Isles through Eclipse Lake on the Knee. Back in Adventures in the Elements, the Knee was described as the most magical place on the Boiling Isles. Considering Luce learned her second spell there, and it's also where Titan's blood is found, that definitely seems to be the case. With Luce not feeling well though, Ida, King, and a determined Amity head to Eclipse Lake. And I love that Ida's nickname for Amity is Boots. Also, apparently Ida still hasn't learned Gus's name since she keeps calling him Goops. On the Knee, Kikimora is heading the excavation to find Titan's blood. And something both she and Hunter have in common is that they don't want to disappoint Belos and prove that they are useful, which kinda shows how horribly he treats these two, which also adds to how sad it is that they see themselves as rivals considering that similarity. The Cardinal Palisman is still following Hunter around, and apparently a witch can't understand their palisman until a bond is formed, as we'll see later in this episode. I also find it funny that Hunter says he doesn't speak Palisman and then proceeds to explain his plan. Sure, Palisman can understand witches, but he knew he wasn't going to get a response back. Really, the cardinal is the therapy bird for Hunter to have someone to talk to. But he eventually crosses paths with our owl gang, and him being without his other staff is basically powerless and is easily captured by Amity, who now has a little bottle of abomination goop. And I don't know if this was intentional, but Mae Whitman, who voices Amity, also voiced Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and she carried a little pouch of water, so I thought that this was a cool similarity. Once inside the mines, the equipment left over is old, as Hunter begins to explain ancient witches used to mine the veins for Titan's blood. This probably occurred during the Savage Ages when wild magic was common. And oh, how I wish the characters in the show were more interested in history so I could learn about it. But we do learn that the caves are made from the veins of the Titan and magic will reflect off of them, which makes me wonder if other parts of the Titan can reflect magic. We know that the witch's wool cape can reflect and protect against magic, so it's not too surprising other things on the Isles can too, especially the Titan. We see that King has been using his new powers more, and even tries to use echolocation to find the lake. But he's unable to, and as we'll find out later, it's because it's dried up. We also learn that Luce told Ida about her adventure in Latissa and referred to Hunter as a bad but sad boy. And I have a feeling that name is going to stick with viewers. Also, don't go bad-mouthing Amity's girlfriend because she will cut you. Seriously, she almost cut Hunter later on in this episode. But with Kiki and the Coven blocking the way, Ida and King go off to make a distraction. Meanwhile, Hunter actually makes a valid point in saying that he and Amity are similar. And they are, characters that are talented and skilled, but have bad parental figures in their lives and lofty expectations placed upon them. However, Amity has changed because of Luce, whereas Hunter has not. So Hunter sees the message as a threat, and since Amity has been conditioned to see every situation as an opportunity, she starts to have her doubts and doesn't want to disappoint Luce. Speaking of Luce, she discovers another entry, and that the tunnels were filled with fool's blood, likely a play on fool's gold, which indicates a decaying vein, or in other words, a cave-in. Philip survived, however his companions did not. This also means that Philip did make allies during his time on the Isles. Upon learning this, Luce tries to contact Amity via the Tamagotchi. However, her not being quick enough, Ida and King fall for the fool's gold. Quite literally, actually, they fall down a crevice. And Amity, feeling empathy for Hunter and not wanting to be replaced, releases him. This just being a ploy and taking off, leaving Amity to be captured. And I'm just saying, Hunter, you pulled this with Luce and now with Amity. One of these days our heroes aren't gonna fall for this. But Kikimora takes off to find Hunter, which definitely seems to be her priority over the Titan's blood. So while she wants to prove herself to Belos, she's letting her personal grudges get in the way. Amity gets thrown into the crevice and is saved by Ida, who then takes King's advice of talking to the owl beast to turn into Harpy Ida, but not before making a deal, which as we find out later is eating some voles. Ida takes on the remaining Emperor's Coven members while Amity and King go ahead to find Hunter in the dried up Eclipse Lake. And Hunter digging himself a grave and saying how easily he can be replaced shows how terribly Belos treats him. Also, considering what we saw with the book in the beginning, if Hunter really was created, this adds a whole new layer to this dialogue, and Hunter may not even be aware of it. And seeing Hunter like this makes those doubts within Amity bubble up again. However, King shows Amity that Luce's message weren't as cryptic and cruel as they seemed. I mean, seriously, Amity, this is the bundle of Sunshine Luce that we're talking about. But Amity does acknowledge the similarities between her and Hunter and how her parents shaped her way of thinking and living. But if you let yourself meet the right people, then you'll be surrounded by those who won't make you feel worthless. I'll get into this a bit more, but if this scene doesn't perfectly sum up Amity's development over the course of the show, then I don't know what does. But this leads to a fight between her and Hunter after he notices the key. Also, whoever decided to have Amity make this pose, I hope you are having a fantastic day. But my god, was the animation for this scene good. We've gotten some awesome fight scenes before, like in Convention and Agony of a Witch. Also Enchanting Gromfright, which again aired almost exactly a year ago today. But this animation was so good, and I'm guessing this was done by Season 2 animation supervisor Kofi Fiagome, and man, did he absolutely crush this. In terms of story though, this scene is big because again, this is a fight between two characters that parallel each other, and Hunter uses his cardinal staff for the first time, even noting that it's weird and different from his other one, and Amity using Ghost presumably for the first time in a fight. And even though Hunter is a prodigy and the right hand to Belos, Amity holds her own against him. Hunter even says that Amity is strong, and if they kept fighting, she'd probably get away. It was mentioned by Alador in escaping expulsion, but Amity has gotten stronger since becoming friends with Luce and the others. I feel it's a situation where Amity actually feels like she has something and people worth fighting for, rather than her future being planned for her and an overwhelming work ethic thrust upon her. So even though she may not be the same top student with the perfect grades, she's stronger and more powerful than ever, since letting herself be open to change and love. Also, I know this wasn't the exact same location on the knee, but I like how Amity struggled to learn her fire spell and adventures in the elements, and now here she is on the knee again, holding her own against the Golden Guard, which is kinda what her parents wanted for her, and now she's basically on that level, but through her own way. Now, Hunter, on the other hand, has no one except for Belos really, and that relationship definitely isn't healthy. So he only has accomplishments to base his value off of, which is why he's so desperate to get that key, even threatening to hurt Luce. And obviously, Amity wasn't going to put Luce in that situation, so she hands the key over. Not before breaking it though, which will have some interesting repercussions for both the Owl Gang and Hunter. But before Hunter leaves, he is sincere in saying that he appreciates Amity handing the key over. A bit of a weird thing to say since you literally just threatened to hurt Amity and Luce, but okay. Also, props to both May and Zeno for their voice acting work this episode, especially this scene because they each killed it. With things looking a bit down, the gang heads back home to a recovered Luce. Also, it happened guys, we saw Albert off the staff this season. But Amity is the first to get a hug, and god, this is probably like the first hug she's gotten since like understanding Willow or Grom. I feel like this hug alone would have been enough to cheer Amity up, but things are looking up since she broke the key and got the Titan's blood on her glove. And Hunter has the key, but not all of the blood, so I'm sure this will affect both parties in making their portals. And as previously mentioned, Hunter seems to have formed a bond with his palisman since he can understand it now. We still have to wait for a name, but I feel like when Belos isn't around, Hunter will use his palisman staff rather than his Golden Guard one. And I hate to even say it guys, but I feel like something horrible will happen to this Cardinal palisman, just throwing it out there. But with all of the plot, lore, and world building out of the way, let's get into character development. Really, I'm going to focus on Amity and Hunter. Luce was sidelined for this episode, but she was still her sweet, compassionate self in looking out for Amity. Willow and Gus were also supportive friends in looking after Luce. Kind of, they had the best of intentions. And Willow, you will get an episode where you are the focus, I just know it. Ida and King also stepped up to the plate in order to help Luce out by traveling to the knee. And we even got to see these two interact with Amity, which we rarely saw before, so that was nice. Ida is also learning how to control her harpy form more now, which is good, and it seems like she'll have to talk to the Owl Beast in order to do so. Since it was shown last episode that the Owl Beast was an actual creature turned into a curse, I'm wondering if we'll learn more about them and their history like with the Collector. King is also a champ for helping Amity out, both in revealing Luce's messages and also fighting Hunter. Considering Amity squashed his cupcake in Convention, it's nice to see these two getting along. Kikimora had a smaller role this episode compared to something like hunting Palisman, but it's clear this girl is unhinged. Even the Coven guards think she's a bit paranoid and crazy, but like Hunter, she's also been subjected to Belos' treatment. It doesn't appear to be the extent of physical harm as it's implied with Hunter, but still, she thinks that she's also easily replaced. Plus, with her knowing that it was Hunter who she fought against in Latissa, she's definitely got a grudge now more than ever. So it makes sense why that always seems to be at the top of her priority list. With Hunter having the key for Belos though, I'm wondering what's going to happen to Kiki for failing her mission. Probably not good things. Speaking of Hunter though, he played an important role this episode. Like I said, he parallels Amity in many ways. But where Amity found those who make her see value in herself outside of accomplishments, Hunter has not. So he's continually wanting to prove himself to Belos. We saw this from hunting Palisman with him just wanting to help Belos with his curse. But since failing his mission with retrieving the Palisman and getting switched with Kiki for this mission, he feels like he's just gonna get replaced. Even his face when Belos mentions the slight possibility of replacing him says it all. So he's desperate to prove himself, even sneaking off to go undercover. And it looks like he bit off more than he could chew because he's almost immediately found out by Kiki and quickly captured by the Owl Gang. So that's definitely not a great confidence booster for someone who's already down on himself. Even how he interprets something like Luce's messages shows his mindset and how everything in his life is an indicator of his worth. Belos has definitely twisted his way of thinking. And like I mentioned before, Hunter has been shown kindness twice, once by Luz and now Amity. I know he is coming from a place of achieve your goal at whatever cost, but I feel like this kindness and sympathy may run out at some point, and it will be a case of the boy who cried wolf, and the one time he'll really need the help, he won't get it. Like, especially with Amity giving her awesome speech and him just ignoring it because he can't let go of wanting validation and approval from Belos. He had an opportunity to actually let good people into his life, but Belos has too much of a hold on him for him to take it. Now Hunter using his Cardinal Talisman is big because he's actually starting to bond with it. Like I mentioned before, I think he'll start using this staff when he is away from Belos since he is starting to see the benefits of having a friend. But even with being unfamiliar with a Talisman staff, Hunter still does well in this fight with Amity, although he admits that she's strong and would likely escape. But I think one of the most interesting lines he has is the following.
Really want to help? Then give me that key!
It's definitely a line of desperation, but also just reinforces that to Hunter, something like helping out should aid someone in their accomplishments, and not even coming from a place of just genuinely wanting to help. The interesting thing is that for Hunter and Amity, who went about getting the blood in different ways, both achieved their goal. For Hunter, it was the cutthroat, goal-oriented approach, and for Amity, it was through wanting to protect Luz. I just find it interesting that these characters who parallel each other and yet find themselves in very different positions both got what they wanted. But I feel like what Amity said will stick with him or come back at some point. I feel like Hunter will realize that getting Belos' approval won't give him the self-worth he wants, and will eventually see that Amity was right in allowing himself to meet the right people in order to be happier, and I think his talisman is one of the first big steps. But shifting gears to Amity, her goal this episode was to be an awesome girlfriend. Honestly, I feel like they wanted to use the word girlfriend as many times as they could just to completely squash any misconception that her and Luz are just gals being pals. And even though it's well-intentioned, she's approaching the whole sending Luz home thing as another opportunity that her parents would have prepped her for. Obviously, she cares about Luz and does so willingly, but she's putting too much pressure on herself to do well to show that she is a great girlfriend. But it makes sense why she would. Like I said, she's been conditioned to approach all situations as opportunities. But also, Luz is someone she cares about more than anyone. After all, she is the one who showed her genuine kindness and compassion in the first place, and kept her from going as far as Hunter has gotten in terms of a goal-oriented mindset. So obviously she'll do anything to try and make her happy. She also volunteers right away to travel to the knee to get the blood. This girl is going like above and beyond. But outside of Amity just doing so much to help Luz, I love seeing how much of a positive impact she has had when it comes to Amity and her magic. Like, we really haven't seen all of her capabilities. We saw that she got stronger in escaping expulsion, even Alador mentioned it. But damn, not like this. Amity was legit the MVP this episode with her abomination magic, and it goes to show how far being happy can improve other aspects of your life outside of the mental and emotional ones. Like I said before, Amity's got something worth fighting for now, and we're seeing how that has benefited her in all aspects of her life. I mean, she is on par with Hunter, the Golden Guard. This is basically what her parents wanted for her, but Amity achieved that level of success on her own and not even intentionally. It just came from surrounding herself with the right people. It's literally what Amity says to Hunter. Sometimes you just gotta be open to the possibility of meeting the right people. Again, I think this summarizes Amity's development so nicely. But for her, this is also kind of a new territory, which could also contribute to her not wanting to disappoint. And Hunter ends up exposing those insecurities in Amity and having her think that Luz wouldn't want to date her anymore if she fails. By the end though, she realizes that Luz would never put those kinds of expectations on her and likes Amity for the person she is. I mean, this whole episode Amity wants to prove that she is an awesome girlfriend, and Hunter questions her if she's ever heard Luz say that before. But what's the thing that Luz says even before she knows about how the journey to Eclipse Lake went?
Amity! I'm so glad my awesome girlfriend is okay. Me too.
To Luz, results don't matter. All she cares about is that Amity is safe and happy. So if it wasn't clear before, Amity really knows now that Luz would never place her value on achievements. And like I previously mentioned, even though the mission didn't go as they would have thought and Hunter has the key, in a way Amity was rewarded for her caring about Luz and putting her safety above the goal. It may not be all of the Titan's blood she needed or wanted to get, but it's something. But with this episode, we only have yesterday's lie left before we hit hiatus and wait for the second half of Season 2. Each episode has been phenomenal so far, and I keep saying it, but I don't know how the hell Dana and the crew are doing it. Each episode has built off of the other, and if Eclipse Lake was this incredible, then I cannot wait for yesterday's lie. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.